R&B quintet As Yet formed in Philadelphia in 1989, initially as a duo consisting of Dion and Shawn Rivera. As time went on, the group would not only grow in numbers, but undergo endless lineup changes before things finally got off the ground. Dion honed his singing skills in church and school choirs, while Shawn, a first-generation Puerto Rican born in the mainland US, and who didn't start taking music seriously until halfway through high school, joined the choir to get closer to a girl, and ended up finding his voice after landing a lead solo. They stumbled upon Kenny Terry and brought him into the group after meeting him in the hotel he was working at after overhearing him sing in a washroom. His love for music came from his mother, who also sang, as well as his school choir, where he learned music theory and established a lot of his vocal experience. Claude Thomas, Ali Hyman, Damon Corr, and Dyshawn Benson also joined, bringing the total number of members to 7. That number would soon decrease to 5 when Ali and Damon ended up leaving early on. After working hard over several years to get the attention of labels, the group scored big when their demo fell into the hands of Jacqueline McQuam. The Los Angeles-based businesswoman was so impressed by the guys that she signed a deal with them to act as their manager. This move would lead to even bigger and better things, since Jacqueline's son-in-law just happened to be Kenneth Babyface Edmonds. Babyface heard the guys sing and liked what he heard enough to sign them to his LaFace Records label, and he also had them open his concert with After 7 and El DeBarge. Then, throughout the process of getting management and being signed, both Claude and Dyshawn exited the group. That left the door open for fellow Philly native Daryl Anthony Hawes. Babyface and the LaFace team had the group add one more member, solo artist Mark Nelson, who had actually been an original member of Boyz II Men prior to their first release, to round out the group's lineup and serve as a second lead vocalist. Once upon a time, Mark attended the same Philadelphia high school as Nathan Morris. They became best friends and got the idea to put together a group called Boyz II Men. Along the journey to secure a record deal, Mark says he was instrumental in getting the guys backstage at a New Edition concert they snuck into, where they met and sang for Michael Bivins. One thing led to another, and the group, minus Mark, eventually signed on to be managed and produced by Michael. Behind the scenes, Mark, as well as the rest of the group, was already signed to local management. The others were able to get out of that deal in order to sign with Michael, since they were minors, 17 and under. Unfortunately, Mark, who was 18 at the time and considered an adult, couldn't get out of the deal as easily, so he ended up getting left out. With the 5 members finally solidified, As Yet released their self-titled debut album in 1996 on LaFace Records. The first single, Last Night, went on to become a platinum hit, reaching number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the R&B chart. It also appeared on the soundtrack to the 1996 comedy film, The Nutty Professor.
Last night, I was inside of you.
Fun fact, the music video that had the guys looking like they were performing in front of a bunch of Windows 95 screensavers was actually very expensive to make. The group's second single, Hard to Say I'm Sorry, a cover of rock band Chicago's #1 hit, was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocals, reached number 8 on the Hot 100, and, just like their debut single, achieved platinum status. Following the group's debut album, they went through a period of roster changes once again. First, Mark left the group for a solo career and was replaced by Tony Grant. With this lineup, the group recorded another Chicago hit, You're the Inspiration, with their lead vocalist and bassist, Peter Cetera. Tony would leave in 2001 to pursue a career in theater and focus on solo music. He was replaced with LaDawn Bishop. The group was said to have then been dropped by LaFace, and later reformed with only one original member, Daryl. He was joined by LaDawn and new members Chris Gilder and Dante Harper. They released an EP in 2004 titled That Be You. This version of As Yet left the scene in 2007, only to resurface the very next year with original members Dion, Shawn, Kenny, Tony, and Mark. Can you guess what happened next? Yup, more changes. Mark and Tony were out of there pretty quickly, and, a blast from the past, Claude came back on board. Mark returned some years later, making the group a fivesome again. A few years after that, Shawn became the latest dropout. Then, finally, in 2016, whatever version of As Yet was around at the time dropped their official second album titled She's Magic. The following year, when Mark was asked by RnBJunkieOfficial.com what was next for the group, he revealed that he wanted to do more with the guys, but the same reasons that it took so long for them to reunite still existed, and as a result, he was moving on. He's admitted that for many years, he felt a lot of pain, shed a lot of tears, and considered the experience of missing out on what he could have been a part of with Boyz II Men to be very traumatizing. A full circle moment did present itself in 2013 when he got the opportunity to perform with Boyz II Men during their Vegas residency. When asked about why he thinks As Yet wasn't able to put out a second album after the tremendous success of their first, he told YouKnowIGotSoul.com in 2011 that he believed it had a lot to do with their manager being the mother-in-law of Babyface. He felt the relationship was a bit incestuous, with Babyface and L.A. Reid also being the CEO of the label they were signed to. According to Mark, the group was grateful for all she did for them as a manager, but also felt that it wasn't enough to continue to catapult them to further success. In 2021, the newest lineup of As Yet sat down for an interview with Halftime Chat YouTube channel. They believed it was the loss of the brotherhood between the members that was the main reason for their lack of progress. Yet another group that Mark was a part of for a very short time also brought its own set of issues he had to deal with. Tony approached him with the idea to create an R&B supergroup with the lead singers from As Yet, Blackstreet, and Silk called Blaze. Mark had a publishing deal with Sony at the time, so he went to them to ask if they would fund the project. They agreed, and the guys got to work. Sadly, everything fell apart, as he detailed in a follow-up 2020 interview with YouKnowIGotSoul.com. A manager approached the group and he took us to J Records, and we were about to sign this dope deal. And then one of the members, I won't even say who it is, just killed the whole thing for us. It was ridiculous. It's just one of those things, groups, different personalities. He definitely messed that up for us. For many years now, Mark's continuously mentioned a book he's been working on that he says will reveal all about what really happened with Boyz II Men, As Yet, and Blaze, but as of the making of this video, it hasn't come to pass. He's also made a great career out of writing for other artists like John B., Tyrese, Tony Braxton, Tamia, and Brandy, just to name a few, and released 3 solo albums. In response to As Yet's interview with Halftime Chat in early 2021, original member Shawn Rivera did his own interview on the channel just a few months later to tell his side of the story, which involved spilling a lot of tea. According to him, Mark didn't leave on his own accord. He was voted out. They weren't really dropped by LaFace, they were paid to leave in a sense, because the label was on the verge of being absorbed into another company. He, and he alone, arranged and produced the a cappella version of Hard to Say I'm Sorry for the group's debut album. And as far as their issues trying to get their second album off the ground go, Shawn agreed with what Mark had said in the past about their management being the main factor. In fact, he revealed that some power players in the industry told them that if they didn't switch management, certain doors wouldn't open. When asked why he left As Yet, Shawn disclosed some personal information that he'd never publicly revealed before. Mark allegedly brought a deal offer to the guys from a label. They offered the group the opportunity to re-record Last Night without Babyface and do a full album. The catch was that because of the way the deal was structured, the group would end up owing the label money. The other members wanted to take the offer, but Shawn said no. He accepted their decision and told them whenever they were ready to do another project together, they could get in touch with him. He didn't consider himself not a part of the group anymore. He was just not a part of this specific project. However, later he found out that they re-registered the trademark to the group's name without Shawn's name on it. That was the last straw. To add insult to injury, his royalties were held hostage by the other members until he intervened to get what rightfully belonged to him. Today, Shawn is enjoying being a member of a group again, a Latin a cappella group called Viva Mas. So what happened to Daryl Anthony Hawes? Well, whatever you do, don't ask the other members of As Yet that question. In the group's interviews, his name is never mentioned. In fact, they go out of their way to not mention him, as well as other former members. A little research shows that as far as music goes, he's stuck to mainly writing, arranging, and producing over the years. He also appears to have had a variety of sales and marketing positions up to the present day with several different companies. As Yet's latest effort, a single called Kleptomaniac, dropped in 2019 and features Dion, Claude, Kenny, and newest member Paris Smith as the latest iteration of the group. 2 years later, Kenny decided it was finally time to take a step back from the group to focus on his own solo endeavors. He insists, though, that he's still a member of As Yet and always will be. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and comment. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you won't miss any future videos. See you next time.